Dennis Peterson. What would a cleared planet look like? Would the Church of Scientology get involved in the political system of the world or just stay on the sidelines? Would they invest heavily in space technology in order to reach alien civilizations or Target 2? What would happen to the organization itself? All right, well, Hubbard wrote in a couple different places that they were building a new society. To hell with this one. New civilization was in order. We should basically be hitting the reset button in many ways. And so Scientology's growth would sort of, to becoming a cleared planet, or, if they achieved a cleared planet, then you'd have a very, very different societal structure. It would be, for all practical purposes, we've, in the ex-Scientology world, have tended to draw on North Korea as a pretty pragmatically real example of what Scientology would probably develop into, because Scientology has an authoritarian structure to it. The knowledge reports, the spying on one another, the reporting, the need to report in writing on fellow members about their ethical lapses, keep everybody towing the line and following the word from above, being the word from David Miscavige. It's very leader-focused, and while I don't think too many Scientologists think of themselves as, follow the leader types, look at how they act, look at what they do. They can convince themselves that they're becoming totally spiritually free and, very independent people, but in the end, they toe the line because there is this, carrot reward system and punishment system in place to keep you on the straight and narrow. And I see no reason why Scientology as a structure, as a culture, would change. It would only get worse as they got bigger and more people got involved, because the more and more and more people who bought into that belief system, the more sure everybody in that group would become, through the social dynamics and peer pressure and group think that would go on there. They would be, insufferably arrogant, and would be absolutely sure that what they were doing was the, only true right path to follow. And anybody who wasn't following that path or resisted that would be, treated as second-class citizens, and they'd probably start taking rights away from people, because Hubbard wrote in a few places that criminals shouldn't have the same rights as honest people. Well, of course, Scientologists consider themselves the honest people. Of course they do. So they're going to, they'd actually start victimizing people who didn't step in line with what they were thinking. So this would affect all levels of society, the police forces, the civil structures, government rights, the Bill of Rights would be affected by this. And so, yeah, absolutely, they would get involved in government. I think it's David Miscavige's wet dream to get a couple Scientologists in the Senate or something. Oh my God. He would just, fall all over himself if something like that happened. So they very much are crave that kind of power to wield it over other people. As far as the alien thing or space program, yeah, that would actually become a thing too, because they take that stuff seriously, especially in the Sea Org. And Target 2 is a very real thing. That's the idea in Scientology, that they're going to clear this planet, that they're going to get everybody made into Scientologists, and then they're going to go off and find another planet, and they're going to clear that one too. In other words, they're going to go find life elsewhere in the universe, and they're going to get Scientology to those beings, because no matter what kind of bodies those beings have, they're spiritual beings. They're thetans first. And they need to be cleared of all of their reactive mind and the body thetans and all that stuff, So that would be the general order of things. Now, of course, I can also say to kind of, I don't know what the expression is, but basically to invalidate the whole question in the first place. This would never happen, because Scientology is so unbelievably inefficient at what they do. And they are totalitarian, and totalitarian structures almost universally fall apart within one generation. The Soviet Union, within 90 years? It didn't even last 100 years before it fell apart. So, these things don't really last a long time, given the organizational structures and instructions and guidelines that L. Ron Hubbard put together. trying to follow those policies and build something that would actually work, that would just never happen, because they don't work. And the harder you try to follow Hubbard's advices, the worse it gets. So, if we were going to see a cleared planet and Scientology take over the whole world, we would see a very different Scientology than what we see now, because it would have to change in order to evolve into becoming something that big. There you go.